Everyone stand as the jury comes into the courtroom. Hmm. Y'all may be seated. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session and calls number 23 CCCR 2673. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Larry Jean Dupuy. Let the record reflect that Mr. Dupuy is present in court with his attorney Ryan Gertz. Let the record also reflect that the state is present with Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, Attorney Farrah Nixon and Attorney Fred Vernon. Let the record also reflect that the jury is now present and seated in the courtroom. State, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
And defense, are you ready?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. At this time, Mr. Dupuy, will you please stand as the state read the information?
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas comes now the undersigned assistant district attorney, comes now the undersigned assistant criminal district attorney of Jefferson County, Texas, on behalf of the state of Texas, and presents in and to the county court at law of Jefferson County, Texas, that in Jefferson County, Texas, Larry Jean Dupuy, hereafter styled the defendant, hereto for on or about September 29th, 2023, did then and there operate a motor vehicle in a public place while the said defendant was intoxicated, against the peace and dignity of the state.
And Mr. Dupuy, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, Mr. Dupuy, you may be seated. State, would you like to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may go to the podium.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Nixon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Judge. Good
No.
As commented in board order, we talked about the state having the burden of proof for this case, and we do have the burden of proof, and we embrace the burden of proof. We embrace bring you to evidence to prove the elements of this case. So the elements that we're going to discuss right now for the DWI, the ones that we have to prove, are up on the screen. And it's in Jefferson County, Texas. The defendant, who is Larry Jean Dupuy, on or about September 29th, 2023, operated a motor vehicle. In this case, it's going to be a golf cart, and in a public place, which he operated on Merriman Street in Fort Neches, Texas, while the defendant was intoxicated. So those are the elements that we have to be, that we'll have to prove, and part of the prosecutor's job is educating you about what the law is, the elements we have to prove, and then we bring you the evidence we have for it. Okay. So, something I want to clear, prosecutors talk in analogies because we have to give you ideas in a quick and easy digested manner. That's why whenever we have the opening then we're talking about the team, and the sports and everything. I don't know a whole lot about sports, so, but I did want to make an analogy about what it was. And whereas they were saying, developing a team in sports and how, we didn't put the defense on a team. Well, I have a further analogy, and mine is to go with baseball, and in particular to define the analogy as a little league team. And I'm not saying that to say that the jury's childish or the court is childish or anything like that. You have to understand, like, as far as my idea is that so in my analogy, as the we're a little league baseball team, the prosecutors are the coach pitchers. So we're going to be tossing out the law and the evidence. And it's up to each of the players in the team to follow the rules and to judge the pitch. So you're going to be the ones that are judging the evidence. Because in a trial, when it has a jury, the juries are considered fact finders. Y'all are going to determine what the facts are from the evidence presented to you. Okay. And in our little league analogy, the defense is going to be the umpire, because they make sure that what the coach pitcher is tossing is within the rules. And then, of course, the judge is the ref, just like in the other analogy, because he's going to make sure that all the players on the team, the coach pitcher, and the ref are all going to be playing by the rules, and that he makes calls on plays that could go one way or the other depending on the circumstance. And as I told you earlier, we have our two jobs of presenting the law and presenting the evidence. And the law, as we went over there, is that we're under today is driving while intoxicated. And the state's going to provide evidence to prove each of the elements that we have up on the board of the offense of DWI, and the initial stop is valid. Because before we can even get to the evidence of the DWI, we have to get to the investigation of the offense, which starts with your reasonable suspicion for your traffic stop. Okay, so this DWI started with a traffic stop. One thing that the officer noticed, the first thing, was that the defendant ran a stop sign. We're going to bring you evidence of that. He followed an unsafe manner behind a pickup truck at an unsafe distance, and he was swerving behind the truck. He wasn't going out of lane, he was going back and forth behind the truck like that. So, sorry. Next thing we're going to talk about is intoxication. Okay, so these are our main our definitions of intoxication. So intoxication is legally defined as 1, not having the normal use of your mental faculties, or not having the use of your normal physical faculties by reason of introduction of alcohol and controlled substance, or having an alcohol concentration of 0.08 or more. So the prosecutors have to prove at least one of them to prove intoxication. However, we're going to aim to prove all 3 of them. But just understand that we only have to do one of them because it's or and or. It's not and. Okay. So the evidence we're going to bring up for the loss of normal mental faculties is the defendant's difficulty in following directions, struggling to understand basic multi-step instructions. We'll cite the standard for sobriety test. We have the H&N test. We have a walk and turn test. It's also another loss of normal mental faculties is poor driving behavior. So the erratic driving, such as swerving behind the car, running stop signs, following too closely, that's all part of your mental faculties. And then the state's going to bring you evidence of loss of normal physical faculties, which includes eyes being bloodshot, watery, glassy, speech being slurred or slow, and balance and posture, where people are swaying and have unsteady gait or inability to walk a straight line. That will also bring in the walk and turn of the standard field sobriety test. And as far as a BAC, a blood alcohol content of greater than or equal to 0.08, we're going to have a forensic scientist come in and testify to to the BAC of the defendant. Okay, so the types of evidence we're gonna have officer testimony. You'll hear from Officer Riley, and Sergeant Riley, and also gonna hear from Officer Orta about the traffic stop observations of the defendant's behavior, the SFTS, blood search warrant, transport witness in the blood draw, and placing the blood kit in evidence. You're also going to see video footage. You're going to see body worn camera and dash camera footage of the actual events that took place. And as I told you, we're going to bring in our forensic scientists to go over the blood angles. So in conclusion, when we're done presenting our evidence, the state believes that we will have presented enough evidence to have proved each element of the offense of DWI, and we will ask that you hold the defendant accountable for his actions, and we'll ask that you will determine a verdict of guilty for the offense of driving while intoxicated. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gertz, like to,
Judge,
yes,
need to switch the computers over here. No, you're totally fine. Just hand me the blue cord. Well, good afternoon. I told you in Fort Ire that you all committed that you could follow the law about proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And I suggested to you that at the end of the trial, the state has to make you 100% free of all reasonable doubt about each and every element that they promised you they would prove in that information that they just read out loud to you. And information is a promise. We can prove all of these things beyond a reasonable doubt. It's these. At the time of driving, Dupuis had lost his use of normal mental or physical faculties, or had a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 grams per deciliter or higher. And one of the questions you're going to get to ask as you look at the videos, and I would encourage you to be asking in your head is, what constitutes normal behavior under these circumstances? What's normal? One of the things you're going to learn about this process, and again, you're going to have to sort of start out right now. You start off with an empty backpack, right? What proof is sufficient to get to beyond a reasonable doubt for you is going to differ for you and you and you, and that's fine. But at the end of it, you have to be satisfied that they've proven the case beyond a reasonable doubt to you. So on September 29th, 2023, what you're going to learn is that in Port Neches, Texas, unlike Beaumont, for example, they allow people to drive golf carts in their neighborhoods. And you can actually drive on the roads, and you can go down to the Neches River Wheelhouse, or you can go down to Port Neches is a new place there. And then you can drive yourself back to your house in your golf cart. And that's perfectly legal and fine for you to do. One of the reasons they encourage people to do that is if you've been drinking, you've had a drink or two, wouldn't you rather the person out there on the road be on a golf cart than on in a Ford F-250 that could run over pedestrians, or be driving the wrong way down the highway or something like that? And so it's a logical idea, and it actually, I would suggest to you, helps the community. But what you're going to learn is on that day, Gene Dupuis had gone and had a drink with some buddies, and he had left a brewery that was in town in Port Neches. He'd gotten in his golf cart. It was headed back to his house, which is not far from where he was pulled over. And the officer's going to tell you why he thinks he pulled Gene over, but you can look at his driving behavior. You'll see things like, for example, what he's actually doing when they were talking about swerving. Swerving in your lane is not illegal, by the way. But when you see he's actually swerving, you can also notice all the potholes that we're dealing with right there in front of the police station and in front of the high school. And so Gene's actually reacting to the street conditions around him. He's also reacting to the fact that he and a vehicle in front of him are the only cars in the immediate vicinity. It's 10:30 at night, something like that. They're the only cars in the immediate vicinity. They're both going not very fast. And so, again, one of the things that the traffic code requires officers to consider is there's no such magic number of following too closely. And what I mean by that is there's not like, it's not 6 car lengths at this speed, it's 5 car lengths at this speed. The code doesn't say that. It says, consider all the conditions, consider the situation, and then you can make potentially a determination of whether somebody's following actually too close. Either way, he makes the stop, and he begins, after a couple of question and answer with Gene, he begins to, I may not have told you this, so his full name is Larry Gene Dupuy Jr., but he goes by Gene on a day-to-day basis, so I'm gonna call him Gene when we talk about him, and that's what he tells the officer. His name is Gene, and the officer's like, well, is that your whole name? He goes, oh, it's Larry Gene Dupuy Jr. Either way, he goes by Gene. What you're gonna learn about is that there's these standardized field sobriety tests. Ms. Nixon called them SFSTs. You'll hear that word throughout the trial, but it stands for Standardized Field Sobriety Tests. And one of the things you're gonna learn is that officers are trained on these tests. And it's really a battery of 3 tests. But their arrest decisions are supposed to be bigger and larger than that. And what I mean by that is there's all kinds of things that lead up to administering the field sobriety test, and then some decisions that you have to make after you administer the field sobriety test. And one of the tricks to the field sobriety test is you have to do them right. Now, what you're going to learn is that even though this is how officers are trained, some of the things that they're asking people to do are not normal. So we're going to say, we want to determine whether somebody has the normal use of their mental or physical faculties. So to determine that, I'm going to have you stand in this position like this, that you've never stood in before in your life, and listen to about 2 minutes of instructions.
Objection, Your Honor. This is becoming argumentative.
I'm sorry, counsel. Ms. Nixon wants to make an objection. She made the opening. It's her objection to have. Judge, these are facts that the jury is going to hear, and what I anticipate the evidence is going to be in this case.
Okay. Can you preface your statement, what you expect the evidence to show?
What I expect you will learn is that people are made to stand in this position that they probably never stood in their life, and stand there and hold this position while they listen to a bunch of instructions. And then when they're asked to do this test, it's look down at your feet and count out loud and walk like this while you're counting out loud, and then do a turn that's a very specific turn. And the trick is this: you can fail the test before you start. You fail the test before you start. That's how they count all of this stuff. And so what you're going to learn is it's not testing anything about normality. It's, can you listen to the officer? The officer also, by the way, will be demonstrating different stuff than he's instructing. For example, he'll say, don't stop while you're walking. And then the officer will stop while he's walking. The officer will say, take 9 heel-to-toe steps, but then the officer takes 3. A series of things like that. And they're supposed to trick you. And see if you can follow along with the tricks. And that's what you're going to hear. And that's what you're going to see on the videos. Nonetheless, Mr. Dupuy is administered 2 of the tests, but not all 3, because he has some issues standing on 1 foot because of surgeries that he adequately describes to the officer. You're going to hear his explanations, his rationale make perfect sense. And so he doesn't do the 3rd test. One of the other things, I didn't warn him that I was going to say this, and I'm overweight myself, but one of the things you're going to learn is that people that are 50 pounds overweight or more, the manual tells officers, are not really supposed to be administered this series of tests, the last 2 tests. And yet here we are, Mr. Dupuy is being asked to do these tests. So either way, after all of that, they go and get a warrant to take Mr. Dupuy's blood. And you're going to hear about a series of problems and potential problems with that blood result. But the more important thing about blood is, even if we assume the blood is correct, the level of blood, alcohol concentration in the blood, compared to what you see in terms of how he's acting on the video, is not going to add up. It's not going to add up. A person that has as high a blood alcohol concentration as the state is going to allege through their testimony would not be standing there for extended periods of time just standing there, being able to carry on a conversation with somebody. And so you're gonna see a disconnect between what you see with your eyes and what this blood result is at the end of the case. Nonetheless, you must be 100% free of all reasonable doubt if you are going to vote guilty. I'm going to ask that each and every one of you ask hard questions of the evidence the state presents to you, and at the end of the case, exercise any reasonable doubts that you have about any element, and continue persist in voting not guilty. Thank you.
Okay. State, are you ready? Call your first witness.
State calls Sergeant Marty Riley to the stand.
Okay. Now, Sergeant Riley, you have previously been sworn in. You can take the witness stand. And you could adjust the microphone in the chair. Ms. Nixon, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Sergeant Riley. How are you doing today?
Good.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Robert Riley, Robert R-O-B-E-R-T, Riley, R-I-L-E-Y.
Okay, are you a certified peace officer?
Yes, sir.
Where are you, where are you presently employed?
With the city of Port Neches.
And how long have you been a police officer with them?
I've been employed by Port Neches since 2017.
Okay, and what are your duties in your current position?
I'm a patrol sergeant. I'm responsible for supervising the shift, responding to calls for service, and enforcing local and state laws.
Can you describe your educational background for us?
High school and some college, and the police academy.
Okay. Have you had any special training pertaining to detecting signs that a person's intoxicated?
During the academy, you go through a course on how to administer standardized field sobriety tests.
Okay. And were you employed as a peace officer of the Port Neches Police Department on September 29th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were your duties and positions the same then as they are now?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long do your shifts run?
From 6, we have a rotating schedule, sometimes it stays, sometimes it's nights, but it's always 6 to 6. But it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
And what were your duties on that shift that you were working?
The same duties I have now as a patrol supervisor.
Okay. Were you in uniform?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working alone or did you have a partner?
I was working alone with 2 other officers on my shift.
Okay. At about 11:16 p.m., did you observe anything out of the ordinary?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What did you observe?
As I was approaching the intersection in the 600 block of Avenue C, which intersects with Merriman, in the 700 block of Avenue C, I observed a golf cart fail to stop at a stop sign, turn right, and travel westbound on Merriman, following closely behind a truck. And as I approached the vehicle, it went from towards the center lane to the outside, swerving within its own lane. It's a single lane traffic.
Is a golf cart legally considered a motor vehicle? Okay. For the city of Port Neches, does it require a license plate?
There are several things according to our city ordinance that it requires.
Okay. Is one of them being a license plate?
I do not recall the license plates.
Is running a stop sign a traffic violation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know what traffic code that violates?
I believe it's 544.010,
Okay,
the traffic code.
thank you. And is following too closely a traffic violation?
Yes, ma'am.
And what traffic code does that violate?
It's chapter 545. I believe it's 545.062.
Thank you. So what's the, so based on the traffic violations, did you decide to pursue and stop the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And during that pursuit, was your vehicle dash camera active?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where was your car in relation to the golf cart when you first observed the golf cart?
When I first observed the violation of running the stop sign,
Mhm.
we would have been facing opposite directions. I would have been facing northbound and he would have been traveling southbound.
Okay. If you had a map, could you show it more clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, you may.
Officer Riley, are you, are you familiar with the area that we're talking about during the daytime?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are you familiar with it at nighttime as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I'm gonna show you is State's exhibits. They're out of order, but State's exhibit 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. As they are, I wanted to show them to you as demonstrative evidence. Can you look at this map and tell me this is the area you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you put a little P?
Sorry, Ms. Nixon, if you want to submit them, I'll happily stipulate to him, but I don't want him marking on them
Oh.
if we're gonna be, if we're gonna be admitting them. So,
Okay,
once they're admitted, you can do it as a demonstrative or however you want it. I don't care how you do it, but I'm gonna object to it.
okay. Well, state offers 4 through 8 as demonstrative evidence.
Any objections?
Well, what would you do for all this?
Okay.
That's fine. Judge, I don't have any objection to that.
Okay,
This will help the jury. I don't know if they'll be able to see them.
okay. State's exhibits 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are admitted.
Put them on the screen.
Here.
That's totally fine. Yes, please.
State's going to,
You like to publish?
yeah, State's wants to offer State's exhibit 9 is the digital version of 4 through 8.
You have any objections?
Is there anything else on that?
No,
list?
it's just,
Totally fine. Okay.
Okay, State's exhibit 9 is also admitted.
and may I publish to the jury? Your
Yes,
Honor?
you may.
Yeah, let's see the map. Tell us where you started out.
At the time of the offense, I was approaching this intersection of Avenue C and Merriman. The golf cart was traveling this direction at Avenue C and Merriman to take it right at this point.
Okay, where's the stop sign that you're in?
Approximately where that letter C would be at.
I'm showing what's marked Stacy's Exhibit 1. Do you know what this is?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
It is my in-car video footage.
Have you watched this video?
Yes, ma'am.
Was this video prepared on a device capable of creating a fair and copy accurate of events?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this copy a fair and accurate copy of the events of the night of September 29th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Has this video been altered in any manner? Oh, and are you a competent user of the device that it was created on?
Yes, ma'am.
State Officer Stacy Exhibit 1.
Yeah, we have no objection.
No objection. State's exhibit number 1 is admitted.
Commissioner Post, the jury.
You may publish.
If you have trouble hearing or seeing this, I ask that you please raise your hand. Officer Riley, where are you doing? Where are you right now?
That is the back lot of the police station, ma'am.
Okay. Is that Avenue C and Merriman where the stop sign is?
Yes, ma'am.
From the angle and speed that you're driving, can you see that stop sign clearly?
I believe so. Yes, ma'am.
You can?
Well, can't be sure because the lights here kind of reflect.
Okay.
So I know it's next to that.
Okay, but you just can't see it clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
That's because you are coming at it not from this direction, but from this direction.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not stationary. You're actually moving
Yes, ma'am.
because you don't have to stop for it. That's a side street stop sign.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And of course, there's no light reflecting off of it right now because it's going this way and you're going this opposite way. Okay, thank you. Okay, so is that the defendant ahead of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you pulled over the driver of this car. Do you see the driver of that vehicle in the courtroom at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would you point toward the person you recognize as the driver is sitting and identify the article of clothing he is wearing for the record?
To my far right, white unbuttoned shirt.
Okay, Your Honor, may the record reflect that Sergeant Riley has identified the defendant Larry Dupree.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. You may proceed.
And as you were driving down Merriman Street trying to catch where the defendant was, were you in Jefferson County, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And is Merriman Street a public place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so how did you approach the motor vehicle?
On the driver's side, ma'am.
Okay. And did you have your body worn camera active during the stop?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ask the defendant if he'd been drinking?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How did he respond?
When I first initially asked how much alcohol he's consumed, he first avoided the question, just said he was hanging out with some friends.
Okay. Did he tell you where he was coming from?
Yes, ma'am. Later on, he said he was coming from the brewery where he consumed one beer.
Okay. What's the name of that of the local brewery in Port Neches?
I believe it was the Nature's Brewery.
And where is that relation to where you first observed the defendant?
It's 2 to 3 blocks north of the location.
So he did tell you that he had been drinking that night, but he just said stipulated one beer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm just showing you what's labeled as State Exhibit 2. Do you know what this is?
It's my body-worn camera.
Have you watched this video?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this video created on a device that's capable of making a fair and accurate copy of events?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a competent user of the device that it was made on?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why I keep going. I'll check my mind. Okay. Was this record a fair and accurate copy of the events that happened on September 29th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has it been altered in any manner?
No, ma'am.
State offers State's Exhibit 2.
Judge, I don't have any objection.
Okay, no objection. States exhibit number 2 is admitted.
Your Honor, may I publish to the jury?
Yes, you may.
Do you make your license plate? Actually, I don't find out my driver's license, no.
Golf off Merriman.
Do you make your license plate? Actually, I don't find out my driver's license, no. Okay. The reason why I stopped you
is he ran the stop sign, turning on Merriman. And then you were tailgating that truck all the way down Merriman. How much you got to drink tonight?
Just hanging out.
Okay, how much have you had to drink tonight?
So,
Okay.
So that's, so was that the defendant telling you he was hanging out with his friends tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did he say when you asked him how much he had to drink at this point?
The second time he said he did not recall.
And in the video, it shows that you asked for his license and did he have his license on him?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did he have his insurance?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Whenever you were speaking with the defendant, what did you smell while interacting with him?
I could smell the odor of an alcoholic beverage on this person.
Okay. And what did you see in his demeanor?
His eyes were both glassy and red.
Okay. Did you hear anything that indicates?
His speech appeared to be slurred.
Okay. Okay. And earlier you said he ran a stop sign, followed a truck too closely and was swerving while driving. And although swerving and driving in a lane is not illegal, could it be considered a sign of possible intoxication?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And according to your training experience, are all these signs that you listed, are they all indications of intoxication?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So was the defendant under arrest at this time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ask the defendant to get off the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
To investigate further.
So how did the defendant move after leaving the vehicle?
While walking back to my patrol car, his little one steady on his feet and took a step to the left.
Okay. Did you pat the defendant down?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
For officer safety, I noticed he had some bulging pockets, and just to ensure he didn't have any weapons on his person, I conducted a pat down.
Okay. Um.
What's your last name, sir?
you put B-U-P-U-I,
And your first name?
June, well, Larry. Larry June, B June,
Okay, your date of birth, Larry?
12/27/79,
12/27/79.
yes.
And where do you live at?
We're on 4-year-old track,
Okay. And a good phone number for you, Mr. Duper?
409-466-9799.
Okay. You're right, Megan, 1 second, okay? No, I'm not gonna look it up, it's fine. It happens because your pockets are kind of bulging.
You gonna do this?
Yes, sir, we are. Well, back to the front of my car. Do you have any guns, knives, anything like that on you? Don't reach in your pockets, do you have anything stab me, stick me, poke me, hurt me? Okay, walk back to the front of my car. Walk back to the front of my car, I'm gonna pat you down for weapons, because your pockets are kind of bulging, and I don't know what's in them.
You got a phone.
Okay, I'm just gonna make sure there's no weapons in it, and then we're gonna go through the rest of this, okay? Just put your hands right there for me. That's just like a bait. Okay. And this your phone over here? Okay, just no guns, knives, nothing like that? Okay. Hold back here for me. You do me a favor, stand right there where my lights at, okay? I'm gonna turn these front lights off.
if you would like them to. Just take them, and while we're gonna drill this.
Well, we're gonna do some tests. Do you not wanna do the test?
Watch, anything, just like, that's the knowledge of.
Well, Yorkshire, right?
Yes.
It's all the way on the other side of Magnolia, a little bit farther than a mile, but I understand what you're saying. However,
If we're gonna do this, so just.
I can tell you've been drinking.
Just
Okay. Your driving indicates that you've been drinking. Okay.
Yeah, so. Sure.
No, I'm talking about running the stop sign, swerving behind another car, tailgating real close, etc. Those are indicators. Okay. My next step is to do some tests to see if you are intoxicated, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So I'm waiting for my partner to get here so that way I can solely focus on you, and they can pay attention to vehicles around and etc.
Sorry, putting in some decision.
You know, that's what we're here for, man. Where are you coming from? The brewery. Hang out watching the game, or
No, this up when we're
you just had one beer at the brewery?
just rolling by, said hi and say hi to people and that's it. And the beer went in that great. Okay.
Do you have anything else to drink besides the beer you had there? Because one beer isn't gonna typically make, you know, that.
Excellent. That's why I'm not gonna go then. Forget it.
Okay.
I'll just, I'll get one. Not much trouble.
Well, I understand that, but regardless, whether you're in a golf cart or in a vehicle, still a motor vehicle.
I understand, so. Arguing with that.
Right.
So Sergeant Riley, did you ask the defendant to perform field sobriety evaluations at the scene?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did he consent?
For the first two, yes, sir.
Okay. Did the defendant appear to be disabled or injured anyway?
No, ma'am.
Did the defendant tell you he was disabled or injured anyway?
He did reference some ACL surgeries.
Okay. What test did he perform?
The horizontal gaze nystagmus, or commonly referred to as HGN, and the walk-in turn test.
And what test did he decline doing?
The one-legged stand.
Okay. Did he tell you why he declined the test? Or
No.
did he indicate why he declined it?
I believe it was because of the ACL surgeries.
Okay, but he consented to perform the walk and turn test.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what was the first field sobriety test that you asked him to complete?
The HGN test.
Did you explain how the test was performed?
I give him the instructions to keep his head still and follow the stimulus of the ride inside him.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury how the test is performed?
You have a subject focus on a stimulus in this point, in this instance, it was the tip of an ink pen. And you move the stimulus from side to side, looking for nystagmus or the involuntary jerking of the eyes. And it's conducted in 3 different parts.
Okay. Can you tell them what you're looking for when you're doing this nystagmus test, HGN?
Yes, you're looking for nystagmus at different points. The first set of clues is lack of smooth pursuit. So you would describe that as maybe a marble rolling smoothly across the table surface. If you have lack of smooth pursuit, you'll see a jerking, and it won't be a smooth, constant gaze to the side. The next is nystagmus at maximum deviation, which is all the way to where the whites of the eyes aren't showing anymore, but it's far point of the gaze.
I don't know, what is nystagmus?
That's the involuntary jerking of the eyes. And the third test is looking for nystagmus prior to 45, onset nystagmus prior to 45 degrees.
So did the defendant indicate you understood your instructions prior to taking the test?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he attempt to perform the test?
Yes, ma'am.
And did the defendant successfully complete the test?
He performed poorly. I did observe all 6 scores.
So what was the second field sobriety test that you asked the defendant to perform?
The walk and turn test.
Okay. Before this test, did you go to flat ground?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you just demonstrate the test before you did it?
Yes, ma'am.
He did it. And did you explain how the test was performed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you explain to the jury how the test is performed?
The first thing you do, if you don't have a line provided, is you have the subject imagine a straight line. You have them place their left foot on that line, and their right foot heel to toe in front of it on the same line with their arms to their side. You tell them not to start until you instruct them to do so. They will remain in that position while you demonstrate the test, and then you give the instructions for the test, and then they begin the test.
Can I ask you, what type of test is the walk and turn test?
It's a divided attention test.
Okay, divided attention test. So is the instruction part where you tell them to stay in the start position, is that part of the test?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that testing for?
That they can divide their attention and stand in that position while you give instructions.
Um. So whenever he's performing the walk and turn test, can you tell the jury what you're looking for when the test is performed?
You're looking for the subject to walk in a straight line, take the appropriate number of steps of 9 steps, keeping their arms to their side, not using them for balance, conducting a turn, making a series of small steps back, and making 9 steps on the way on the return.
So did the defendant indicate he understood your instructions prior to attempting the test?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he attempt to perform this test?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he successfully perform this test?
Poorly, I observed 4 clues.
So the third test that you asked him to perform was the one-leg stand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And he declined to perform this test?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But he declined to perform the one-leg stand, but he did consent to performing the walk and turn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in your opinion, does it diminish the reliability of the field sobriety test if a defendant is nervous or not practice the test?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Because you've had people pass the test, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's not that even if they've never done it before, you've had people pass the test.
I have had people with 0 clues. Yes, ma'am.
Did you arrest the defendant for driving while intoxicated?
Yes, ma'am.
So why did you place him under arrest?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sorry, my mouth is a little dry. Why did you place him under arrest?
Because I felt that he was intoxicated while operating a motor vehicle in a public place.
Okay. And through your training experience, do you believe the defendant lost use of his normal mental and physical faculties?
Yes,
And do you believe this due to the introduction of alcohol?
yes, ma'am.
And Sergeant, when you got the defendant in the patrol vehicle, did you read warnings regarding giving a sample of his blood and breath?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
You're Go ahead and go ahead of time for all the surgeries you've had.
If you wanna tell me about them all before we get to that point, you sure can.
Four ACLs on this one,
Huh?
one ACL on this one, and she have another ACL on this ankle right now. There's no.
Have you taken anything tonight? Are you on any type of medication? Nothing? Okay.
Oh, is that the deal, Brian? Oh, no, sir, again.
Well, that's what he's asking us regardless. It's just kind of the question we ask. So. In 1 second, turn this light off so I can do what I gotta do and I'll turn it back on. Okay, sir. Do me a favor. Put your feet together, your arms to your side. Nice, down your side, there you go. Now you do. Just follow my pen. Set my pen right here, see what clicks up and down? Okay. Follow that with your eyes in your eyes only and don't move your head. You understand?
Hmm.
Gotta keep your head straight for me. Kinda got tilt. There you go.
Well,
Yeah, we're good. One time, okay?
there's a lot of ink in there.
Yeah, there is. Like I said, just pay attention to the tip then, okay? Okay. Next thing I'll have you do. Imagine a straight line, okay? On that line, place your left foot. So imagine a line, and then place your left foot. Okay, place your left foot on that line. Okay, also on that line, heel to toe in front of it, place your right foot. Like so. Okay, place your right foot. I'm gonna tell you, okay? Place your right foot, front of your left, heel to toe, arms to your side. See how I'm standing? And you just stand like this. Can you do that for me?
Don't really know what to do, so.
I understand you have the skis on you. Can you place your right foot heel to toe in front of your left? Arms to your side. Okay. Do not start this test until I tell you to start. Stand just like this, and I'm going to explain and demonstrate to you, okay? You just stay standing like this. Arms to your side.
Let's link this one. We're link this one. I've been here 20 years.
Okay.
We're link.
If you would prefer, we'll move it over to, we'll stop traffic, and we'll move it over to the sidewalk where it's completely low. Let's go ahead and walk over here, sir.
Let's link that way.
No, that doesn't mean at all.
Yeah,
Not right there in the parking lot, it doesn't mean at all. Step over here for me.
no.
No, sir, you cannot. Okay, since you feel like this leans to, look, this right here is straight and low. So, again, I need you to stand like I explained it to you, right foot in front of left, arms to your side. Do not start this test until I tell you to start, do you understand?
Oh. Quite small.
Okay. What you're going to do, get back to how I told you to stand. Right foot in front of left, heel to toe. I know, I need you to stand like that while I'm giving you the instructions and explaining it to you. Do not start this test until I tell you to start. Stay just like that, arms to your side. Arms to your side. Okay, what you're going to do is take 9 heel to toe steps on that line. Once you start, do not stop. Looking down at your feet, counting your steps out loud. Once you reach 9 steps, you're gonna make a turn, leaving your front foot planted, using a series of small steps. Come 9 steps on that straight line back. Okay? Watch my demonstration, okay? 1, 2, 3. I went to 3, you're gonna go to 9. Series of small steps. 1, 2, 3. Do you understand?
Not.
Begin.
Sergeant Riley, when you asked him if he understood, what did he reply to you?
That he did, and he said 9 up, 9 back.
So you demonstrating 3 steps didn't interfere with his understanding that it was 9 steps, correct?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
Thank you.
2, 3. Do you understand?
Not.
Begin. Okay, next test.
During this test, where's the defendant's arm supposed to be?
Other side.
Just with the other side, where they do their heel to toe. So whenever they're doing this bit, is that an indication of intoxication?
Yes, ma'am, that is a clue. Using arms while balanced. Balancing.
Put your feet together. Put your feet together. On the other side. Do not start this test until I tell you to start. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to raise either leg of your choosing approximately 6 inches off the ground, keeping the bottom of your foot parallel with the ground, looking down at your foot.
Why would you about Mary Seal
I
situation?
understand.
So I don't think you can pass it.
That's not pass or fail. I'm just
So I'm
saying.
telling you, I had
Okay.
4 ACLs on this one.
Okay.
I have 1 ACL.
So you don't want to do this test.
I know, whatever.
That's
I'm
not.
just saying that you're asking me to fail on this one, that's not.
So whenever you asked him to the one leg stand, what did he reply?
That he couldn't do it.
Right? And did he say that you're setting up to fail if you ask him to do that one?
Yes,
Okay, so he declined doing that one.
yes.
But he didn't bring up these concerns when he was doing the walk and turn?
No, ma'am.
I'm saying.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. You can,
I just told.
I can explain. I can explain it to you. I can understand all that. I'm giving the option. I can either explain this and demonstrate it for you, or you can just.
Result here.
The end result is, okay. Put your hand back. You're under arrest for driving while intoxicated. Hold on.
Sorry, so you read him his DIC 24 breath test refusal form, or the breath and blood request form, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so did you request the defendant to give you a sample of blood?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, and did he agree to give you a sample of blood?
No, ma'am, he refused.
Okay, so what did you have to do in order to do the sample of blood?
Complete an affidavit for a warrant, and then once the warrant is signed, then you can order it.
Okay. So what does that process entail?
In this particular case, I transported subject back to the police station. We use an online system to complete the warrant, so that way a judge is able to review it and sign it and send a copy of the warrant back. So I'm able to print it off. And then, we went to the Jefferson County Correctional Facility where the warrant was executed and it was released to the staff.
Okay. So where was the defendant while you applied for the blood warrant?
In the backseat of my patrol car.
And was the defendant left unattended while you applied for blood warrant?
Okay.
Okay, so who was watching it?
Officer Ivan, who is also on my shift, is at the station.
So you said that you took him to Jefferson County Correctional Facility after he was arrested?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where exactly was the blood sample taken?
In the infirmary, I believe.
Okay, is the infirmary a sanitary place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who collected the sample from the defendant?
Arden Isaac in Bubia. I know I'm pronouncing the last name wrong.
Okay. Is he on staff at Jefferson County facility?
Yes, ma'am. There's an agency that does the nurses there.
Okay, and he was a trained professional.
Yes, ma'am. To my knowledge.
So did you open the sealed blood kit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you see the nurse take the sample?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall what time they took the sample?
Kind of from my board, at the time.
Yes.
Um, 1:08 in the morning.
So the nurse gave you the tubes after they were drawn?
Yes, ma'am.
Sergeant Rowley, during the approximately 1 hour and 52 minutes between the initial stop and the blood draw, did you observe the defendant consume any alcoholic beverage? Okay, did he consume anything at all?
Ma'am.
Okay. Once the nurse handed you the blood tubes, did you do anything to the blood tubes?
Rotate's not the right word. It's emotionated. To kind of mix the anticoagulant 5 to 10 times gently. And then after doing that, I place a seal over top of the tubes that has my signature, the date and the time, and the person who the blood's name on it as well.
Okay. So you put a seal on the tubes, and then what do you do with the tubes?
And I put the tubes back in the packaging, which is like a sleeve, which goes inside of a plastic sleeve that's screwed shut. And there's 2 of those. You put them back in the box, close the box, and I put a seal over top of it.
I'm showing you what's marked State Exhibit 3. Do you know what this is?
Yes, ma'am. It's the blood specimen kit.
Okay. Do you recognize this kit?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize this kit?
My handwriting and the case number and my signature on the seal for when I sealed it back.
Okay. Has it been altered in any manner since you last saw it?
Yes, ma'am. This yellow tag was not on there.
Okay. What does that yellow tag say?
Evidence for Jefferson County Regional Crime.
Okay, is that where we send the tubes for testing?
Yes, ma'am.
Paper?
Sure, I can.
Okay. Mosey? Can you put you to open this? You feel comfortable touching these without gloves, or do you want gloves?
Yes, ma'am. That's fine.
So, is this the sleeve you were talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna open this.
I'm sorry, Judge, none of this has been admitted into evidence, and those tubes are not individually marked. So I think we've got a series of concerns about doing this in front of the jury.
Your Honor, the tubes are individually marked. They're each have a label, and they're marked A and B from the labs.
I'm talking about State's Exhibit.
I'm about to do that. I have to open them up to put on the.
I'm sorry. can't open that in front of the judge, or in front of the jury until it's been admitted into evidence, Judge. We're just like demonstrating stuff out that's not been admitted into
I
evidence.
was leaving the predicate to having him identify what it is before I offered it.
Objection overruled. You may go forward.
Do you recognize this too?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know that what is this too?
That is the blood specimen taken that night, ma'am.
How do you, did you put any identifying marks on this one?
Yes, ma'am, that's my writing and that's my note. It's my writing, date and time, and then the signature right there.
Okay. So I'm going to label this as State's Exhibit 3A. Bottom number seven. Other info. You recognize this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is this one? Did you place any identifying marks on this one?
Yes, ma'am, the same identifying marks is on the first one.
Okay, and what is this?
That is, the second vial from the blood specimen.
Mhm. Are these your marks on this right there?
Yes, ma'am, that's my signature right there.
Are these yours?
The ones in black?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So have these been altered in any manner?
Yes, ma'am, the writing in black is, I'm not familiar with.
I'm going to label the second one, Exhibit 3B. The honor state is not going to offer this exhibit at this point in time.
Okay.
So the night that you arrested the defendant, where did you take this blood to?
After releasing the subject to the staff, we returned back to the police station and logged it into evidence.
Okay. Thank you, Sergeant Riley. Pass the witness.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. And so we're gonna ask that you follow the bailiff out into the hallway. At this time, everyone please stand as the jury exit the courtroom. Okay, order being recess and Okay. Oh, shoot, I need to. Okay.
That was quick.
State, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor, state ready.
Defense, you ready?
Judge.
Okay. Miss. And,
Oh, Goodman, don't
go ahead on and, yeah, once you move that out of the way.
we put it,
You put it right here for now, and then
put it lock the defense. Let's put it back up here
Oh,
for now. No, I don't want to. I'm very good.
Are you gonna be using it?
Yeah,
Why not just put it right there? In front, right there.
is that gonna block the camera?
No.
Okay.
Unless you put it.
Who can put it over there?
You don't have the cameras on yours, huh?
Put it right here.
Yeah, you're on camera, no? And it's on, okay. You could go ahead on and get the jury in. Everyone, please stand as the jury enters into the courtroom.
Okay, we're ready. I've read them before, I'll leave it out there.
Go ahead, I'm gonna send you back here. Yeah. What's it to that? You may be seated. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session and calls number 23 CCCR 2673. Case of South State of Texas versus Larry Jean Dupuy. Let the record reflect that Mr. Dupuy is present with his attorney, Attorney Ryan Gertz. State is present with Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, Attorney Farrah Nixon and Fred Vernon. Let the record also reflect that the jury is now present and seated in the courtroom. Mr. Gertz, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Sergeant Riley, I want to talk to you first about your education and training. What year was it that you went through the academy?
2011.
And was that your primary source of education on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Manual?
Yes, sir.
Have you been trained to do intoxication testing or detection by any other agency that we need to know about?
No, sir.
Are you A-RIDE certified?
No, sir.
Are you drug recognition evaluator certified?
No, sir.
You agree with me that those are different but heightened levels of intoxication determination training, correct?
Yes, sir.
And certification,
Yes, sir.
okay. And how often do you go back and review the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Manual?
I don't have a set time that I go back and review it. I couldn't tell you definitively.
Okay. But you just have done it long enough that you feel comfortable doing each of the duties associated with it, is that right?
Yes, sir.
How long was the training on the manual? How long did it take you all?
I believe it was a week long in the academy.
Okay, would we say 40 hours then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then at the end, you got tested on it?
Yes, sir.
And during the process, there was also intermittent testing, is that accurate?
What do you mean intermittent testing?
Like, I'm gonna show you how to administer this test, and then you would practice administering the test, and they would tell you you administered correctly or you didn't, you needed to change things, stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's ongoing feedback and training, and then at the end, there's the paper test, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then at the end, there's also an actual physical test as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you took the physical test, you had gotten to hear the instructions more than one time, is that right?
I mean, throughout the week,
Yes.
over the course of a week, yes, sir.
Okay, and when I mean, it's not like they come in and give the instructions one time and then say, here, come take this test, right?
They, are you asking if? Can you?
Sure,
rephrase that?
let's just narrow it down to one thing. In terms of administering the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, they don't just tell you, here's how you do it, and then they test you and you either fail or pass, right?
No, sir.
Okay, you get trained on it significantly, correct?
Yes,
Same thing with a walk and turn,
yes, sir.
same thing with the one leg stand. Same thing with all the pre-stop investigation that you're supposed to do, right?
Yes, sir.
So these are all things that you got to hear and learn and read over and over again before you had to take the final. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, as an officer on patrol and in fact in charge of patrol, it sounds like at least one shift. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You agree with me that you need to be thorough in your investigations?
Yes, sir.
You need to be detail oriented,
Yes, sir.
and that your role as an officer is not to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, correct?
Correct.
Your role is to marshal enough evidence to bring to the district attorney a reasonable case, correct?
Probable cause, yes, sir.
Okay, and probable cause is like, there's a probability that a crime was committed, right?
More than that, yes, sir.
Let's talk about that night. I noticed that in your report, you indicated that you were on patrol. Had you been in and out of the police station on multiple occasions that night?
Over a 12-hour shift, of course, we go to the station, you know, we may have to use the bathroom and get a bottle of water or something like that.
Sure. I guess what I'm trying to understand is when you started, we saw when the video started, you were inside the gate. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Of the Fort Natchez Police Department. How long had you been on patrol that night?
Since 6 p.m. that night.
Okay, so you started at 6 and went to 6 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we noticed on the video that you pull out of the gate. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you turn left onto Avenue C, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you get to the intersection of Merriman and Avenue C, did you notice that you also did not stop at the stop sign?
The reason for not stopping at the stop sign is I had already observed the traffic violation. And I had already cleared the intersection to make sure that it was safe to do so. And I did that to catch up to the violator.
Okay. My question was, you didn't stop at the stop sign.
Correct.
Okay. And then just around the immediate vicinity, I mean, there was the truck that he was behind, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then there was the golf cart and there was you, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And there was occasional traffic, but would you agree with it's pretty light traffic?
It was light, yes, sir.
Okay. And what's the speed limit there?
30.
Okay. Did you pace either of the vehicles to see what speed they were going?
No, sir.
So you don't know if he was speeding or anything?
No, sir. You know.
Okay. And do you know how long it took him to catch up with the truck?
No, sir.
Okay.
He was behind the truck from the moment he was on there.
Okay. Did the truck turn at Avenue C?
I do not recall, sir.
Okay. Do you recall on the video seeing a set of headlights go by as you're pulling out of the police department?
No, sir. I don't recall.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So you pull him over and let's talk about your interaction. So he gives you his common name, his nickname, essentially Gene, right?
Yes, sir.
And he then corrects himself without you asking and says Larry Gene Dupuy Jr. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
He gives you his date of birth, correct?
Yes, sir.
You ask him a question, he's giving you the answer, right?
Yes, sir.
He gives you his phone number.
Yes, sir.
He says he doesn't have his driver's license. Does he offer you his driver's license number?
He does.
And you say, don't worry about it, I'll get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He gives you his address.
Yes, sir.
He tells you where he's going.
Yes, sir.
When you turned your lights on, he started reacting to you immediately. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
I mean, in other words, when you turn your lights on, you expect people to react and stop. That's kind of the normal thing you expect people to do, right?
Yes, sir.
And at least pull over to the side and either let you go or pull over, right?
Yes, sir.
And he reacted normally to that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
He pulled over, he stopped, he put how you put a golf cart in park, but I guess he put the brake on so he wouldn't go anywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
It didn't start rolling away or anything like that.
No, sir.
Did you notice that the truck in front of him slowed down and then stopped and then pulled into the intersection and stopped?
Turn right, I believe, on Indian Street, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I don't know the street name, but whatever the next street was across from the high school. Right?
Yes, sir.
And it stopped and stayed there a bit, didn't it?
At that point, I was focused on the golf cart.
Okay. Do you know if they were maybe together or were following each other or anything like that?
I'm not sure, sir.
All right. So, you get him out of the golf cart, and the first test that you have him do is what we call the horizontal gaze nystagmus test. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And one of the components of that test, it's not a clue on the test or anything, but is that people have to stand here like this and hold still, right?
Yes, sir.
They have to hold their head still, right?
Yes, sir.
They have to follow your, either your pen or your finger, in this case, your pen, with their eyes, right?
Yes, sir.
And if they're not doing that, and I'm sure you've had this happen lots of times, if they keep turning their head, or if they're not following it at all, you would stop the test and instruct them to do it correctly, correct?
Yes, sir.
You did not have to do that here, did you?
No, sir.
He just stood there and followed the instructions, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's talk about, because I think we jumped through it a little quickly. Let's talk about the actual horizontal gaze nystagmus test for a minute. Nystagmus is a naturally occurring jerking of the eyes. Do you agree with that?
It's an involuntary jerking of the eyes.
Sure, but it's occurs in nature and it's enhanced potentially by other factors, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, and there's different kinds of nystagmus. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I noticed, for example, that you turned your strobe lights, your red and blues, off before you did the test, right?
Yes, sir.
And the reason you do that is that there's a concept called optokinetic nystagmus. You've heard of that?
I just turn the lights off because that's how I was trained to do so.
You were trained, well, okay. Do you recall being trained on why you turned your lights off?
That sounds familiar, but I can't definitively say that's the reason why. It's been a long time, sir.
Okay, but optokinetic nystagmus would be essentially jerking in the eyes because of lights that are going on around you. Do you recall that training?
Again, I'm not 100% sure on what that is, so I don't want to say yes or no.
All right. Can you rule out, because I noticed that even though you turned your lights off, there were two sets of lights in the video. One is Officer Orta's lights show up and she keeps hers on. Agree with that?
I was focused solely on him.
And you can see them in the video right now. You can see the red lights.
The reflection from the back, those can be back lights as well. We leave our back traffic lights on so we don't get hit.
Okay. And I'm not saying that's unreasonable. I'm saying
Put your feet together.
there are lights going right now, are there not?
Yes, sir. But like I
Okay.
said, that can be the back of my patrol.
Actually, I'm not fussing at you about it. I'm just saying there are strobe lights going on in the back of your vehicles, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then in addition, there's pretty significant lighting at the Port Neches school. We now see it right there. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
In that parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your testimony is that you are not sufficiently familiar with optokinetic nystagmus to rule that out. Is that correct?
I'm not sufficiently trained on what it is enough to speak on.
Okay. So let's go through the passes. So you do each eye one at a time, correctly?
Yes,
Correct. And you always start with the left eye, right?
yes, sir.
And you're using your right, it's to your right, does his left eye, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what you want to do first is make sure that their eyes are tracking equally, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that their pupil size is not abnormal.
Correct.
And so in this case, you did two passes for that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's look at them. And they should take, those two passes should take approximately 2 seconds out, 2 seconds back, 2 seconds out, 2 seconds back, right?
Yes.
Set my pen right here, so it clicks up and down. Okay. All that with your eyes and your eyes only, and don't move your head. You understand? Right, keep your head straight for me. Kind of got it settled. There you go.
Okay, so now that was equal tracking the pupil size that we just saw. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next step you recall that you're instructed that you're supposed to come to a distinct stop before you go to the lack of smooth pursuit.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then the lack of smooth pursuit is gonna be, and you described it well earlier, like a marble on a flat surface is what no nystagmus would look like, or limited nystagmus would look like, correct?
Correct.
If somebody has enhanced nystagmus, what you ought to see is some sort of like a marble, or I like to think of a ping pong ball on a piece of sandpaper. It's kind of bouncing or doing like that. You agree with that?
How does that?
Huh? And that's what you're initially, that's nystagmus generally, but that's what you're looking for in the lack of smooth pursuit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you're supposed to do is stop after equal tracking and pupil size and do 2 passes for each eye. 2 seconds out, 2 seconds back, 2 seconds out, 2 seconds back for lack of smooth pursuit, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So notice we don't have a distinct stop there. You agree with that? We didn't stop between equal tracking pupil size and lack of
You
smooth
would have to
pursuit?
go back so I could see from the lack of smooth pursuit
Sure.
to the, from the equal pupil size and tracking to the lack of smooth pursuit.
Okay, let's,
Eyes only and don't move your head. You understand? Right, keep your head straight for me. Kind of got it tilted. There you go.
okay, so now you've gone into a different test, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's no stop between equal tracking and pupil size and lack of smooth pursuit there that I saw.
Doesn't.
Okay, and even though that's something that you're instructed to do, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then let's go to the next clue. And that is whether or not there's nystagmus at maximum deviation. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what we're supposed to do there is take the stimulus out slowly again. And then when you get to a spot where you can't see any of the white of the eyes is where you stop, right?
The clue is observed at maximum deviation, so the speed to get to maximum deviation isn't trained. It's,
Okay.
the clue is observed once it's at maximum deviation. So the speed as to which to get an eye at maximum deviation isn't placed into training, I guess you could say.
Okay, move the stimulus off to the right until the eye has gone as far as possible is what you're instructed, correct?
Correct.
And that means as far as possible, meaning no longer see the whites of the eyes, correct?
Correct.
And then at that point, when you get to that point, you stop, right?
Correct.
And you're supposed to hold it for 4 seconds, is that correct? Now here's where you're starting. You've finished lack of smooth pursuit and you pause, right?
Correct.
And you're about to start maximum deviation, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're supposed to hold it for 4 seconds when you get to the end, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's maximum deviation. The next one we're going to do is early onset, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And early onset is, do we get nystagmus before we get to a 45-degree angle of the head or comparison to the head, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you perform that test as well, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And your testimony is that you performed all of these in accordance with the instructions that you were trained on, is that right?
Yes, sir.
On the when we get to 45 degrees, how long are you supposed to maintain that, do you recall?
You begin the stimulus at center and you move it out to 45 degrees at a speed that would take approximately 4 seconds to reach 45 degrees.
Okay.
However, if you discover or observe the stagnants prior to 45 degrees, so when you stop, you verify, and then you can move on to the next stop.
And by verify, you mean you hold it still, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you're attempting to do there, is that right?
Yes, sir. Once I observed the stagnants and I verified that that's what it was, I moved on to the next stop.
Okay. And you did 2 passes of that as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then let's talk about, let's switch our topic to the next test that you administered, which is called the walk and turn test. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the NHTSA manual is a national publication. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And so different states have different laws about what constitutes intoxication.
I believe so.
And so, for example, our language that we use is that a person has lost the normal use of their mental or physical faculties, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then we'll separate blood and breath alcohol concentration for the moment. Just in terms of those two, that's what you're using these tests to help you determine. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Amongst other things.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, when we talk about normal use of your mental or physical faculties, would you agree with me that this test, for example, the walk and turn test, wasn't a test that you had to take to learn or to get your driver's license?
Correct.
I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with driving behavior itself, does it?
It's used as a divided attention test, similar to driving a vehicle.
Sure. But this isn't something that people are trained on or practice on or anything like that.
No, sir.
Now, you were trained on it at the academy, right?
Yes, sir.
But you don't necessarily know, it's not a prerequisite to be able to drive, to be able to pass this test, correct?
No, sir. It's not.
Okay, so let's talk about what the test is. So which foot, am I putting where?
You place your left foot on the line
Okay,
and your right foot heel to toe in front of that line, leaving your arms at your side.
okay. And I'll stand here while you give the instructions. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I start imitating you doing the instructions, for example, if I start kind of watching what you're doing and I'm mimicking what you're doing, that's called starting too soon. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that's one of the clues.
Yes, sir.
And you won't even have told me to start the test, and that would be one clue.
In the instruction phase, when we place the person left foot and right foot in front of the left foot onto the side, you tell them not to begin the test until
Sure.
they're instructed to do so.
I understand. But I mean, people do this all the time. They're trying to mimic you, trying to follow along with what you're doing,
Well,
right?
that is a clue though,
Right.
of walk and turn. Yes, sir.
So that's one clue that you can do before the test is even started, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then if I don't hold the position, if I step out of the position, that's a second clue, correct? So there's, and then,
Objection, Your Honor. He's mischaracterizing the evidence. The officer has told him that, the test, before the test begins, they tell them that they're not to begin performing until you tell them to start. But Mr. Gertz here has just said that, oh, well, that's a clue before the test begins. The test begins when he's given those instructions. So if he tells them not to move, and he moves, that's why it's classified as a clue, because the test is beginning there.
Judge, again, Mr. Vernon is not the sponsor of this witness. And so I'm going to ask that he not object during this witness's testimony. But additionally, what I'm asking him about is the order of how the test is
Okay,
administered.
objection overruled. You may proceed.
Okay, so before you say start, before you say begin, there's actually 2 things I can do to have messed up the test, right?
Well, the test begins once that position is started.
Sure, I understand, but before the person knows that the test has begun.
When you're getting the instructions, that is the first phase of the test.
Sure, I understand that. What I'm saying is, at the end of your instructions, you actually say begin, correct?
The actual demonstration of it, yes.
Okay. And so then if I get 2 clues out of 8. We don't call it pass fail, but you would call it a decision point for you. Is that correct?
Yes,
And so, what that means is that it's an indicator potentially that this person may be intoxicated, right?
yes, sir.
And if they don't do well on the test, doesn't mean they are intoxicated, right?
It's an indicator.
It's an indicator
Yes, sir.
amongst many
Yes, sir.
potential indicators. Yes?
Yes, sir.
So there are then 6 other clues, are there not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one of them is stepping off the line while you're doing the 9 steps, right?
Yes, sir.
One of them is using your arms for balance.
Yes, sir.
One of them is not touching heel to toe, correct?
Yes, sir.
And really, the manual allows you to have about a half an inch gap, correct?
Yes, sir.
Before you count it.
Correct.
Do you tell people that they get a half an inch of clearance? Or do you just say walk 1 foot in front of the other?
My instructions are heel to toe.
Okay, so you're intending, even though the manual allows for some gap there, you're intending them to touch heel to toe at every step.
The manual states that anything over a half an inch is considered a clue.
Okay.
Is how it's worked.
I think that's what I'm asking you. Because I mean, heel to toe, I mean, do you agree that my feet are facing heel to toe right now? They're not touching heel to toe, but are they facing heel to toe?
If working on. Yes, sir. You're facing the same direction.
Well, my heel is in front of my toe, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and again, similarly, I'm heel to toe here, am I not? And I'm heel to toe here, am I not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another clue is, you're not supposed to stop while you're walking, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to, this is not a clue, but you're supposed to look at your feet and count out loud.
Yes, sir.
And then you've got a real particular way that you're supposed to take the turn, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to plant your lead foot and then take a series of small steps and then take the 9 steps backward, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then getting the incorrect amount of steps and doing the turn incorrectly are both the last 2 clues. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
When we talk about doing the turn incorrectly, you don't give an instruction on how many small steps, right?
But you do demonstrate on the proper way to do it.
I understand. My question was, you don't give a number of how many steps, do you?
Yes, sir.
You don't say you can't take a spin, like you can't do this,
These
right?
say
That would be a clue,
a
correct?
series of small steps to conduct a turn.
I understand. But again, first time somebody's hearing this or whatever, you're grading them on getting every detail right on these instructions, correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever counted how many words the instructions are?
No, sir, I have not.
Let's talk about something else. If we're talking about normal, if you drove by, you're leaving the station and you drive by the Port Neches High School and you see somebody out there going like this, are you thinking that's totally normal behavior or are you gonna want to go, wonder what that guy's doing?
I think it's a pretty common, for me, I would know, obviously, but for a reasonable and prudent person, I think most people would be able to assume they've seen those kind of things or heard about them or.
But I'm just talking about somebody that's not with a police officer.
Oh, you mean just-
Come on.
Okay. Your clarification, okay. No, I would not think it was.
And would you agree with me that like a normal person, and I understand what the instructions say, but a normal person, if they're losing their balance, but they want to keep doing the test, would use their arms to keep their balance, right?
No, that's why it's an indicator, so.
You don't think that a normal person,
Oh.
losing their balance should use their arms?
Yes, sir, I thought you meant during the test.
Right. But that's normal behavior. If I'm losing my balance, what am I gonna do? The normal thing to do is put my arms up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and, I mean, cause it would be abnormal if I was doing this and then instead of putting my arms up, I just fell over and didn't react, right?
Yes, sir.
That would be weird, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
Not using my arms for balance.
Yes, sir.
And let's talk about the 1-leg stand. So, I know it wasn't performed here, but you recognize that in the manual tells participants, meaning police officers, that people that have knee and hip problems will not do well on this test, right?
I believe it lists several things, yes, sir.
Okay. Over 65 is one of them, right?
Yes, sir.
people with knee and hip problems, right?
Yes, sir.
People 50 pounds overweight.
Yes, sir.
That's the group, and it specifically tells you they won't do well on those tests.
Yes, sir.
It does,
I don't remember if it says that verbatim. I do not remember that.
but those are the categories. You
Yeah.
agree?
Okay.
Okay, and so what you're having somebody do is lift 1 foot off the ground, keep this foot parallel to the ground, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then they're supposed to look at their foot, hold their arms by their side and count out loud, right?
Yes,
And they've got to hold it until you tell them to stop.
yes, sir.
Now, you're counting on your watch generally 30 seconds, right?
Yes, sir.
And also listening to how they count, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are grading them on 4 different things: swaying,
Yes, sir.
hopping,
Yes, sir.
using their arms for balance,
Yes, sir.
and then is it falling, or I guess that's
Swaying, hopping. Puts foot down.
put your, yeah, you put your foot back in. Okay. And then they pick it, you tell them, pick it back up and keep going, right?
Yes,
And they're supposed to be able to do that for 30 seconds.
yes,
And it's your testimony that you anticipate a normal person ought to be able to do that pretty easily.
yes, sir.
You had on a body cam during this interaction. Did you have a body cam on while you were at the jail during the blood draw?
No, sir, I did not.
So we don't have any video of how the blood was taken, correct?
No, sir.
The blood kit, now, brothers. I know something that I'm not open. The blood kit comes with a set of instructions, does it not?
Yes, sir.
Those instructions are made by DPS, are they not?
Yes, sir.
And in those instructions, it tells you exactly how you're supposed to do the blood draw, correct?
I believe so. I opened the kit up and I turned the vials over to the arm.
Okay. But the kit comes from you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you give the vials to whoever is on duty there, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever check their credentials?
No, sir.
Okay.
But can you specify?
Sure, I mean, there's certain people that are allowed to do the blood draws, certain people who are not allowed to do the blood draws. Do you ever check their credentials?
As in, like, check their license to make sure they're.
Just, is this person really an RN? Are they really a phlebotomist? Are they really a physician? That kind of thing.
At the jail, you go to the nursing staff, so some of that is ensuring the jail would have done the background check to make sure that is actually an LVN or RN, or whatever that case may be.
Okay. Do you actually observe the blood draw itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you recall this one specifically, anything about it?
Just like every other blood draw I've done, there was nothing out of the ordinary with it.
Okay.
I can tell you the things I look for is I always ensure they clean the site with a non-alcoholic cleanser. Usually it's iodine. It's always been iodine at the jail.
Okay.
And then they extract the blood. They turn the vials over to me. I'll
Do the inversion.
do the vertical inversion 5 to 10 times. And then that's when I place the seal over top of it.
Okay, and let's talk about why we do that. So these are vacuum sealed tubes, is that right?
Yes, sir.
They're gray top tubes, is that right?
Yes.
The tube color means something, does it not?
I just use the tubes that are in the kit, sir.
Okay. And you understand what when we say vacuum sealed tube, that you plug the tube into the needle that should already be in somebody's arm.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you notice in this case whether the tube was pulled out with the needle or before the needle?
Do not recall.
You understand that if you pull it out before, I mean, have you been trained on doing blood draws?
No, sir. No.
Okay. So do you have any opinion about whether or not it is a correct procedure to pull the needle out with the tube?
I would not know.
Right. And we don't have a video of whether that was done here or not, correct?
Correct.
And you said you think that they use it with iodine because that's what they normally do.
Yes, sir.
Do they ever use a saline solution that you've seen?
That they could. It's. I always make sure it's not an alcoholic. It's not alcohol.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't.
But you can't rule out the possibility that they used a saline solution.
I can. Yes, sir.
When you take it back and plug it in for evidence at the Fort Neches Police Department, who handles the evidence there?
It's placed into a locker, and there is a detective that's assigned to the cases,
Mhm,
and they'll take the evidence from the locker
mhm.
to the crime line.
Okay. But you're not the person that places it in the locker.
I do place it in the locker and I lock it.
Is it refrigerated?
No, sir.
Do you know how long these two vials were in the unrefrigerated evidence locker before they were brought to the Jefferson County Crime Lab?
No, sir.
Do you know who handled them between them leaving the evidence locker and getting to the crime lab?
No, sir.
Do we have a log of that somewhere?
There is a log. It's all documented. I do not have that.
Do you know whether or not there is a refrigerated evidence locker at Port Neches Police Department?
I don't do anything with the evidence, sir. Once I lock it up, that's where my handling of the evidence stops.
Judge, I'm sorry, may I have a moment?
Yes.
I'm trying to see if this is included in something that I have. This would have been September 29th, or I guess into September 30th, where we started on the 29th and go into the 30th.
Not on my report, I believe so.
Yeah, sure. I'd rather us be right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so sometime the morning of September 30th, we'd say, early morning hours, you put the blood in the evidence locker.
Yes, sir.
And you don't know what conditions it's kept in between there and going to the crime lab.
No, sir.
And the crime lab's out by the jail, so right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. That's with us.
Okay. Ms. Nixon?
So Mr. Grace made a lot of points that I would like to address. One of the ones that he made recently was, you know, if you saw someone in the high school parking lot doing this, would you think it was normal? And you said,
No.
right, but you also said that people could look at that and know that through like their life experiences, what that would be, could be a normal as far as if there are police present. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So he asked if you checked the credentials of the nurse on staff that was hired by the Jefferson County Correctional Facility.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you check those credentials? No? Do you check the credentials of each officer you work with?
No, ma'am.
Who checks those credentials? Would it be the person that hires them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is it the policy, or Port Neches, sorry, is it Port Neches Police Department policy that every officer check the credentials of every officer they work with? So by that rationale, is it safe to say that you have to rely on the background checks and the people who hire the officers and the nurses, that they are certified in what they're trained to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you demonstrate the heel to toe, so Mr. Gertz said, is this heel to toe? Is this heel to toe? But when you demonstrate it, you do, this is heel to toe, this is heel to toe.
No, ma'am.
So you do, this is heel to toe,
Yes, ma'am.
this is, sorry. I have to read lesson one. Okay. And so I asked you a question earlier and asked you, have you had people pass these SFTS? And you said that you have, is that correct?
I have had people that have shown 0 clues.
Correct. And so when he's talking about that that it's perfectly natural for you to do this if you're losing your balance. Is that correct?
I'm not sure what you're
Oh,
asking.
sorry, Mr. Gertz ask you if it was perfectly natural for people to try to balance themselves? They're typically the test.
People
Yeah.
do use their arms to balance, yes, but you can walk a straight line without losing your balance and using your arms to balance.
Right. Yeah. And what I'm getting at, sorry, is that what is that test designed to test for? As far as when people are doing this?
To see if that person can maintain balance while walking a straight line.
Right. And if they have trouble with balance, what is that indicated of? Indication of?
There could be possibly intoxicated.
Okay, so that's one of your indications that you use.
Yes, ma'am, it's what.
Okay. And he was saying how you were, that before you even tell them the test has started, you're already counting points against them. But when you tell someone, is that correct? That before you tell them the test starts, you're already counting points against them?
The test actually starts once you have them place their right foot in front of their left foot and arm to their side. That's what the test actually begins.
Correct. Okay, but whenever you tell them that, do you tell them to maintain the start position while you give your instructions?
Yes, ma'am, you do.
Okay, so you're giving them a lawful command,
Yes.
because you're doing an investigation for DWI, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's part of the test, to see if they can do their split attention.
Yes.
Okay, and to address the traffic violations, as far as maintaining a safe distance, the traveling too closely, what is considered a safe stop? Or what is considered a safe distance as far as following?
Enough distance for the vehicle in front of you to stop and you to be able to stop safely behind them.
Okay,
And in this situation, it was very close and I didn't feel that if the truck had to apply its brakes quickly for whatever reason, that the golf cart behind would have enough distance without striking the back of the truck.
and so these laws that keep us from following too closely to vehicles, are they just for the vehicle front safety?
Another for everyone's sake.
Right. Because wouldn't it hurt someone in a golf cart if they slammed in the back of the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, especially since the golf carts have safety belts, safety harnesses.
Some do, some do.
Okay, did this one that might have one?
I don't recall.
So just to clarify, were you trained on HGN testing at the academy?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay. And did you apply it properly here as you were trained?
Yes.
Okay. And what were the results of the HGN testing you performed on the defendant?
6 clues, ma'am.
Okay. And did you observe sorry, I have trouble with this word, misdiagnosis?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And as far as the lighting, Mr. Gertz said that there were some lights going on. Where it was Mr. Sorry, I have trouble with this name too. Depew. I'm not sure if that's right. It was was a defendant facing the strobe lights when
No,
you did your,
No, ma'am, it was behind.
okay. Moment. One more question, John.
Okay. Mr. Kurtz?
Yes, Judge. When you're administering, say, for example, a walk and turn test, the subject doesn't know that they're being graded on, is that right?
No, sir.
They don't know what the 8 clues are, right?
You would,
You don't, let's say it differently. You don't tell them out loud what the 8 clues
no,
are. You don't tell them, if you step off the line, that's gonna be a clue, and if you tell them to walk the line, but you don't tell them what specific things are gonna be clues, correct?
Correct, sir.
And there's certain things that they can do that would not be in conformity with the test that are not clues. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
So for example, I'm walking along and I'm looking straight forward and I'm not counting out loud. Those would be two things I'm doing that I'm not supposed to do, but those are not clues, right?
Correct.
So the subject doesn't know what the clues are, but you do.
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Nixon.
Sergeant Riley, whenever you took the exam for the HGN, or you took the intermediate exam, did your instructor hand you the answers?
No, ma'am.
Okay, because they were testing you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you take a test, you don't necessarily know the answers to the test, do you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so these, sorry, I always forget what the acronym stands for, so I have to write it down. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They developed these tests, or they use these tests that were developed by law enforcement, or not law enforcement, but they were scientifically developed tests.
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that being said, the same as we don't verify the nurses' certifications, the other officers' certifications on your staff, do you have to have the NHTSA verify the test and whenever you're trained in it? Sorry, that's a long question. Did you verify that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration trained you correct, or that you were trained correctly on that? Did you contact them to ask them if that test was properly developed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, because did you rely on the fact that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration backed that test?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have anything further, Judge.
Nothing further. May this witness be excused.
Please, Judge.
Okay. Officer Raleigh, you may be excused. You can step down and you have a blessed day. No, you're free to go.
Oh, thank you.
State, you can call your next witness.
State calls Emily Altamirano.
Okay. Minling Altamirano. Altamirano, would you please come forward? Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you may put your hand on. You can take the witness stand. It's just the microphone and the chair. Okay, Ms. Nixon, you may proceed.
Thank you. This is. Where do you want, how would I, maybe you'll,
As long as it's,
I want to, for the jury to see.
okay.
Okay. Others?
Okay.
Can you state your name for the record, please? Your full name?
Yes, my name is Marlene Camino.
Okay. And what's your occupation?
I am a forensic scientist for the Jefferson County Regional Crime Lab.
And how long have you been still employed?
Approximately 18 years
And what are your duties entail?
to analyze physical evidence that's submitted by law enforcement for either blood or ethanol.
Okay. And what's your educational background?
I have a degree in biology from the University of Houston.
What specific training have you received in the area of blood alcohol toxicology?
I received intense internal training in addition to external training, which includes several courses like the Workenstein Highway Safety Alcohol course, which is taught by the lead scientists in the field. Additionally to that, I maintain license for the forensic science commission.
Have you taught any courses in this area?
No,
Okay. Have you written any articles in this area?
I'm sorry,
Have you written any articles in this area?
no,
Okay. Do you belong to any professional organizations?
I do.
Okay. What professional organizations?
The Southwestern Association of Forensic Scientists, the International Association of Clinical Testing.
And have you testified as an expert witness in chemistry before?
Yes,
Has it been one occasion or a few occasions?
Few.
That include, does that include expert testimony in the courts in Jefferson County?
yes,
Okay. Are you licensed by the Texas Forensic Science Commission?
I am,
And are you certified as a blood alcohol toxicologist?
yes.
And how did you get certified?
You have to maintain training for a period of every 2 years. You have to prove that you've attended multiple trainings and they require certain hours.
Okay. And when did you get certified?
2019,
How often do you have to be recertified?
every 2 years.
Okay. Were you certified blood alcohol toxicologist between the dates the samples were submitted to your lab, October 5th, 2023, and when you finished your analysis and report for this case, November 6th, 2023?
Yes,
So I'm going to show you what's labeled States Exhibit 3. Do you recognize what this is?
I do.
What is it?
This is a blood kit that was submitted to a laboratory.
And did you put any identifying marks on this blood kit?
I do, or I did. I have the lab number, the exhibit number, my initials, in addition to the crime lab seal.
Okay. Has it been tampered in any manner?
Well, it's open right now, but not when I received it.
That was I failed. Okay. I'm now showing you what is labeled. This is labeled States Exhibit 3A. Do you know what this is?
Yes,
Do you recognize it?
I do.
Okay. How do you recognize it? Did you place any identifying marks on it?
I did. Lab number, I gave it the letter A and my initials.
Okay. What's marked States Exhibit 3B? Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is it?
This is the second blood vial that comes in the blood kit, and it also has my lab number. I labeled it B and my initials.
Did you draw a test out of one of these samples?
I did.
Can you tell me which one it was?
A,
Okay. How can you tell it was A?
because I noted that on my records, and additionally, the seal's been broken on this one.
Your Honor, state would like to offer States Exhibit 3, 3A, and 3B.
Judge, may I take the witness on board are?
Yes, you may.
And then, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
What day did this, package arrive at your office?
October 3rd.
October 3rd. And do you have any knowledge of how it was kept at the Port Neches Police Department?
I don't.
When you get a package like this that has a specimen in it, y'all put it in a refrigerated locker, is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's secured, what's the temperature of the refrigerated locker?
It is between 2 to 10 degrees Celsius.
Okay. Tell us that in Fahrenheit for,
Oh, let me multiply it, so you would do, let me see if I have my calculator.
I don't know the answer to this, but Americans can't handle the metric
Oh,
system,
okay.
so.
So I can multiply that, it would be, let's see. So. Let's say 2 degrees, 2 times 1.8, that's 32, that would be 35 degrees Fahrenheit,
Okay.
approximately.
Okay, so between 35 and,
10,
okay,
10 degrees, so it will be 10 times 1.8. 32.
okay, so somewhere between 35 and 50 degrees.
Yes.
So considerably cooler than room temperature.
Yes,
Okay. Now, when you do that, is that because that's a general suggestion or is that a lab requirement for you guys?
for us, it's a lab requirement.
And is it something that DPS requires for y'all?
I'm not sure if DPS requires that actually for them.
Your certification, in part though, involves refrigerating specimens that are set to be tested, correct?
Would you clarify certification in regards to?
You've got several different lab certifications, do you not?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and this is a consistent requirement in each of those certifications. Do you agree with that?
It's more of a suggestion, I think, it's a suggestion, the lab chooses to do it, refrigerated.
Okay, but it's your policy to refrigerate.
Correct, yes,
And you're not aware of whether or not it was refrigerated when it was kept for multiple days, 4 days. So,
no,
and you're not aware of how it was transported, correct?
Yeah.
And you didn't inspect it prior to you doing the testing, which was on what day?
it was on the, if I can refer back to my notes, just to give you an accurate date. So I inspected this on the 27th of October.
Okay, so it goes another 24 days at your lab after it was received, is that right? Okay, Judge, we have an objection. Do you want us to approach or how do you want this to be?
Okay. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna ask that you step outside for a few minutes. Follow the bailiff. Okay, you may be seated. Ms. Nixon, you may go forward, and you're offering states exhibits,
3A, 3B.
okay? And objection overruled, the exhibits 3A, and 3B are admitted. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Altamirano, when you received the tubes, what would you have done if Officer Seal had been tampered with when you received it?
If the seal was tampered with, I would have not analyzed the book.
Okay. Would you have made note of the condition of the tube?
Yes.
What would be other reasons you would make any kind of note for a condition of the tube?
If the tube was clotted, or if the time frame or the name of the subject was not present. Things like that.
Okay. So were there something, oh, I'm sorry. If there were something wrong with the condition, you would make note of, did you make a note on the condition of these tubes?
I did not.
Okay. Did you analyze the contents of one of these blood tubes for alcohol content?
Yes.
Okay. And you earlier identified tube A. Was the laboratory where the testing was conducted accredited at the time of testing?
Yes.
Okay. What scientific process did you use to make the determination of blood alcohol content?
So we used an instrument called Headspace GCFID. In order to explain that, I can do it in words or I can do it in pictures
Okay.
or drawings.
Can you explain it and draw a picture for the jury so they can understand how this works? Okay. Can everyone see this board?
Yes. Yes. It's fine.
A very elementary drawing. So, here's the blood tube. We have two vials. Right? So this is A, and this is B. And when we. You ready to them? Yeah. Okay. So, our process is called Headspace. Gas photography. And then FID. So view it almost like in three parts, right? So the first part will be the vapor, let's call it vapor phase. And what happens during this phase is that from sample A, I will take, from vial A, I will take two samples, right? Okay. Each vial or each will contain a small amount of blood from tube A, and it will contain something that we call an internal standard. So then this goes into this part of our instrumentation. So this is our vial here, and both vials will go through the same process, right? So this gets heated and pressurized. So if ethanol is present, it will basically evaporate here. And this is what we call the headspace, right? So from the headspace, the sample gets taken, the vapor gets taken from here via what we call a transfer line into another section of the instrument. And you can think of this more kind of like an oven, okay? So it will go here, it will enter here in something we call the inlet. This will then enter into two columns. So the sample is moving along, enters here into column 1 and column 2. They look like boils. So what happens here is the mixture gets separated here into individual components. And then once those individual components get separated, they go through what we call, the FID floor. So this will be the gas chromatography is the, separation. And this part will be the detection. So 3 parts, right? So once it goes through here, it will produce a signal, and that will be captured by the software, by the computer, into graphs that look like this. And then each one of these will produce 2 of these. Does that make sense? Okay. And that's basically our process.
Thank you. So was the instrument you used working properly?
Yes.
How do you know that the machine was working properly?
So we run a calibration curve. So we use 6 known ethanol concentrations into that calibration. And that ensures, that lets us know whether the instrument is working properly or not. And we do that every time before we run samples.
Did you follow the protocol for testing the blood using this instrument?
Yes.
Okay. What were the blood alcohol contents results for this case?
Give me 1 second. It was 0.192.
Was there any discrepancy in the treatment of the sample from your standard operational procedures?
Towards the end, there was.
Okay, so what happened?
So normally, we, when the blood comes in, we do it in 2 days. The first day we prep, so we make sure that everything on the kit matches the submission form. The second day we sample, then we write our report that goes through another scientist, a qualified scientist that reviews all my data, and that scientist says, yes, it's good or no, or whatever their recommendations are. After that, I seal the vial back into the kit, into that box that you guys saw. So, at the end, during that time frame that I was sealing, I left it unattended for about 2 hours in our secure laboratory location.
Okay. Who noticed the samples were left out?
Another scientist.
What was her job title?
She was a forensic scientist.
So what documentation was done after this event?
Right, so we wrote something that is called non-conformance and placed it inside the file. And basically that's saying, detailing what happened and why it happened. And the reason it happened was because in the middle of sealing, I had a virtual meeting. And I had to take that meeting, and after that, I inadvertently completely forgot. And then I realized it, and what she did was basically seal the door where the blood tubes were located, and waited for me to come back. So I came back, and I went ahead and sealed them at that moment.
Did this impact the test results of the samples?
No, because the analysis was already complete.
So just to verify, and so even if the samples were tampered with or spoiled somehow, the test results were already done.
Correct.
And also, just to be clear, did you see any signs of tampering or spoilage with the tubes?
No.
Okay. Did you follow all other procedures properly in the processing and treatment of the samples in this case?
Yes.
Okay. In the course of your training, have you also learned about the physical effects of alcohol upon the body?
Yes.
Okay. What training and education have you received on the subject?
The same external training and internal training from qualified scientists.
Okay. So based on your experience, your training, and the results of this blood test, do you have an opinion as to whether Larry
Dupuy.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
You're
Do you have a Larry Dupuy was intoxicated at the time of the accident? Or no, sorry, not the time of the accident, time of the blood draw?
At the time of blood draw, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Maria. Pass it, Ms.
Mr. Gertz?
Yes, Judge. I go to the exhibit sticker, please. This be enough? Yep, perfect, thank you. Now approach the witness, Judge.
Yes, you may.
Hey, man, how are you? Good. I'm gonna come on this side of you. want to show you 11 pages that I've marked as defendant's exhibit number 1. Do you recognize those?
Yes, I can. Yeah. It's
Is it an authentic copy of what was contained in your file?
in my case file, yes.
Now, there is a separate 2 pages here
Mhm.
that were not included, that are part of a police report that you did not author, correct?
Correct.
And so I've removed those from this list, but other than those 2 pages, these 11 pages are kept by your office, correct?
That's correct.
They're kept in the regular course of business. It is your regular practice to keep and maintain those type of records.
Yes,
All of these things were made by you at or near the time of the events described in therein, correct?
that's correct.
This document probably wasn't made by you, but the first page, I think.
Right,
But it was, made by somebody with knowledge of the circumstances, correct?
that's correct.
And the rest of the pages were all made by you
Yes,
at or near the time of events.
yes,
And, in this case, you were a person of knowledge about the contents, correct?
that's correct.
Judge, at this time, we would offer defendant's exhibit number 1 in evidence.
No objection.
Okay, no objection. Defense exhibit number 1 is admitted.
So you said a moment ago that, you said a moment ago that, at the time of the blood draw, it was your opinion that based on the blood and the testing that you did, that, the defendant's blood indicated he was intoxicated, correct?
That's correct.
Am I saying that correctly?
You are.
But that's at the time of the blood draw, which is at, 1 in the morning.
Let me make sure.
I don't have the exact time right.
Oh.
I'm just trying to
It's, yeah, 108.
108, all right. And so, one of the things you know how to do is, and we're just gonna do it real generally, I don't wanna get microtechnical here with you.
Okay,
But as somebody consumes alcohol, it begins to be absorbed in their system, is that right?
that's correct.
And once they stop absorbing alcohol or consuming alcohol, there's some period of time that goes by, and then they begin eliminating alcohol, correct?
So they start eliminating, at the same time that they start absorbing.
Sure, but you're not effectively eliminating until you stop drinking altogether, correct?
Yes,
And we can't, there's not an exact number. This person's elimination rate might be different than this person's, might be different than this person's, correct?
correct.
But we kind of have a ballpark of what it is, right?
Mhm.
And we gotta give you a
Yes.
yes, okay. And, we know that it's somewhere in the 0.015 to 0.25 kind of ballpark?
Usually it's, what we use is 0.01 to 0.03.
Okay, so somewhere in that range, I could be eliminating alcohol at some point, correct? But not much faster than that.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter if I drink coffee, if I take a shower, if I, do all kinds of crazy stuff that people used to say to do when I was a teenager.
Right,
Okay, so, we know that if someone was arrested in police custody, for 2 hours and approximately before the blood draw, that their blood would actually be higher than the number you reported, is that correct?
higher at what time frame? I'm sorry, or?
If 2 hours before is when they were driving, the
Mhm.
number would be higher, correct?
I think it depends on, when the last drink of that person was, so I really can't,
So we can't really tell.
no.
Okay, so this number then that we've got here tells us a lot about what their blood alcohol concentration was at the time of the blood draw. It doesn't really tell us a whole lot about what their blood alcohol concentration was at the time of driving, correct?
That's correct.
It could be higher, right?
It could be.
And it would logically be higher most of the time, right?
So, research shows that at the time of, stop or accident, the concentration is usually higher or the same as at the time of draw.
And the reason I'm asking you that is when we get into the ballpark of somebody who has a 0.2 or greater blood alcohol concentration, we would expect to see significant physical effects on them, correct?
It depends.
generally speaking, that's a correct statement. Do you agree?
So generally, the higher your ethanol concentration, the higher your impairment.
And so we would expect to see things like people that can't balance, they have slurred speech, they don't answer the question you're asking, things like that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you and I have done this exercise before, but I'm gonna ask you about it.
Okay.
Do you remember us talking about an imaginary scale here in the courtroom?
I think so.
Okay, well, let's imagine I have a scale in here, and a scientist has said the scale is properly calibrated, all right?
Mhm.
And we're all sitting here looking at the scale, and we can see what the number is, and I go step on the scale, and it says I weigh 95 pounds. Now, you looking at me and looking at that scale, you would have some concerns about that number, would you?
Yes.
Yes, because if the number doesn't match up with what you're seeing with your eyes are probably gonna be right in terms of things like weight, correct?
Yes, but like I said, it depends on a lot of other factors.
Sure, but me being 95 pounds
I-
is not very likely, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, now, I'm not asking you to get within 5 pounds of how much I weigh, I'm just saying, you can look at it and you can see a disconnect between the scale and the person, correct? And the higher one of those numbers is, or the lower, I guess, compared to the weight of the person, makes that disconnect larger. You agree with that?
Yes.
And there's not really any way to get around that when you think about something obvious like how somebody looks, right, versus what you're seeing on a scientific instrument, correct?
Yes.
Judge will pass the witness.
Okay. Ms. Nixon?
Okay. I'd just like to, so do you know what the legal blood alcohol content limit is in Texas?
Yes.
What is that?
Anyway,
Okay, and how far above the legal limit was the defendant's BAC?
Let me see. Definitely twice, yeah, definitely twice the legal limit.
Okay, because, what was the BAC of the defendant?
0.192.
And using just a layman question, even without your experience, your education experiences as a forensic lab teacher, have you ever been around people who drink?
Yes.
Okay, and do all people react the same to, the same amount of alcohol?
If they show behavior, the same behavior, is your question? No.
Okay, so have you seen someone who drinks a glass of wine and they're fine?
Yes.
Have you seen someone who drinks a glass of wine and they're passed out?
Yes. Or not necessarily passed out, but definitely affected.
You pass witness? Mr. Gertz?
Yes, Judge. So I forgot to ask you about the chart that you drew. So when we're doing this, you're not just filling up these two headspace files, is that correct?
In a sequence,
Right?
no,
Okay.
those aren't the only ones.
You're gonna run a whole batch of them together, is that right?
Yes, so usually we run 20 cases, in a batch.
Okay, so 20 cases means 2 of these per case, so that's 40, right?
Yes.
And then there's some reference samples in there as well, is that right?
Yes, so normally we have, one case, we have controls, another case, controls, and so on, so yes.
Okay, so it ends up being, what, 60
Um,
or 50?
I think it's like actually more like 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
And each of those has to be properly labeled, is that right?
That's correct.
And you have to do that individually.
Yes,
And the labels are the case numbers essentially, right? And then you have your own internal case number, correct?
right, we have our own lab numbers, yes.
Okay. And so what we're using here to get blood out of the vial, we're using some kind of pipette, is that right?
That's correct.
And that pipette is electronic.
It's
Oh, yours is manual, okay.
Yes.
And, when you're using a manual pipette, you gotta be careful that you get the exact same amount for every vial, is that correct?
Yes, so, our pipettes, they calibrated for that reason,
Okay. And how often do you calibrate your pipettes?
once a year.
Once a year, all right. And so you got, a bunch of individually labeled small vials that you're running through the column, during this process, is that right?
They go one at a time, yes.
Okay. And then you have a reference sample, the N propanol, that goes as well, correct?
The N propanol is inside the vial.
It's inside the bottle, okay.
Right.
And so that's what we should expect when we see the gas chromatogram,
Mhm.
which is essentially the peaks and valleys report, right? Yes.
Yes,
What we should expect to see is either there's ethanol or there's not, and then we would know there's N propanol.
yes, so, you expect to see, if there's ethanol, you expect to see, at least two peaks, which one being the N propanol. If there's no ethanol, you don't see the ethanol peak, you just see the N propanol because that shows the instrument's reading correctly.
And do you have reference samples for other potential chemicals, et cetera, that may be in the body, that you put through the chromatograph?
Yes, so we have, something that we call the volatile retention index, and it's basically, comprised of 6 ethanols, and that gets run at the very beginning before we start any of our samples. And if any of those, volatiles are present in that sample, the instrumentation will be able to detect it and separate it out.
And, and so then what's happening is, once it goes through the columns, these wires looking things are the columns, right? And then it comes out through the flame ionization detector, is that right?
That's correct.
And then the speed with which it comes out, the runtime, the speed tells you what chemical it ought to be, correct?
Retention time, yeah,
Retention time.
that's what's going.
Okay, good. All right, Judge, I pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Nixon?
Ms. Altamirano, the approximately 80 samples that are tested each time we run these tests, is that per SOP or certification, your lab certification requirements?
Yeah, that's required by our SOPs, yes.
Okay, and is this machine designed to test that many samples at once?
I believe the machine, I mean, the instrument, is designed to test, probably, almost 110 vials possibly.
So, for your calibration of your pipettes, what dictates how often they're calibrated?
Oh, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
What dictates how often your pipettes are calibrated?
So normally, the time frame, which is required within our year by our SOPs, or if we notice that the pipette is not functioning properly, we will send it out for calibration.
Okay, so it's not just a year, it's a year, or if there's any issues with the pipette.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it's.
Judge, I have nothing further.
Okay. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Judge, for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Altamirano, you're excused. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
As well.
Oh, you have another witness? Do you have another witness?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this will conclude the testimony for today. And on tomorrow, okay, we would ask that you come back to court, be in front of the courtroom at 1 p.m., 1 o'clock. Okay, so you're excused for the evening. Everyone, please stand as the jury exits the courtroom. Okay, y'all have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, order being recessed on this trial till 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Judge, with the court's permission, may I have the paper?
Um,